in every battlefield, there's always been both victory and loss, especially for those, especially for people who are fighting. They both won battles and lost fights, especially if it meant losing someone very close to you who you consider your friend that you've been fighting a long time with. And in this battlefield, it's no different. This is Sellavin Gamer Ladies review of Naruto Shippuden, episode 364, or the connected ones. It starts out with the Shinobi Alliance following the strategy. They're going after Madara and Obito, who are right now in the brain of the Jubi. Hey, they're like controlling him like a puppet. And they all see, and Madara can read their movements. They all know what they're doing, but it doesn't need to have. They think that they immobilize the Jubi, but it's wrong. It's just sitting still so it can transform, and it does. And Madara even gets the idea to take out the brain of, everybody. Take out the brain of the Alliance, and he does. Like, hey, as the Jubi transform, it starts to change. Its form changes. You get horns on its head, and an ear, the eyeball, and a mouth on the right side. Cause it's trying to. Cause those of you who know what I'm talking about knows what I'm talking about. Those of you don't. Cause like I said, and things are gonna get interesting, especially with the Jubi in the middle. I mean, and when they escaped the Shinobi Alliance, they thought they immobilized it, but the truth is it was just holding still. Like they're just like right now. Right now, everybody's on the ground. Naruto even dislocated his shoulder after falling. But then things start to get really awry for them. For example, Obito and they transform and try to boost their control by using Hashirama cells. Obito's right arm, and Madara's cells in his chest. Yes, and it works. First of all, they start by practicing by creating the Biju Dama, the Biju bombs. First they aren't aiming it, but the enemy starts to adjust it. They start by knocking off his feet. It went into a river. It went on a faraway distance. An explosion even annihilated a town in the blink of an eye. But then there's one last final Biju shot, and guess what it heads for? The Shinobi Alliance control tower. Inoichi, Shukaku, and the others, and they're all there, and it's aiming for them. They realize what's going to happen to them, but for one last second, Shukaku goes to Inoichi, and he asks him to connect him right through to them, and you get this like deafening silence, like not for a minute, like for a few seconds, but that silence is like right now a major mark, especially when it was in the manga, that they know what just happened, and then you get the flash of light, explosion. You get Shikamaru and Ino. They're both sad and upset at what happened. Ino's crying also, and right now Shikamaru, he's frustrated, but he wants to cry, but he can't, especially with this battlefield right now on the edge. Then you get to the next part after that. And then they don't show your emotions yet. Don't give up, and like they're ready to fight. And this is coming from Shikamaru, and everything they've experienced. Now that the bats are gone, they're gonna leave everything to them. And then you get so as far as say what the hell just happened, and then you get Neji to reaffirm him, saying that you're the key to this battlefield. And after just what happened to Shikamaru's dad, Shukaku, and Yuichi. And then you get the Jubi's army, and they try to protect him. They both use rotation, saying that the Hyugas, the mightiest in the clan in the Leaf, and they'll do everything they can to protect him and to protect this battlefield. All of them, Hiyashi, Neji, Hinata, they all came up and defending Naruto as best they can. And because they know without him, and that the battle is basically lost because their plan hints on it. And what is their plan? Not going to say, because I want to leave that to the next chapter. Those who read the manga, well, you expect it. Then you get Madara and Obito, and it's hard to control the Jubi without being a Jinchuriki. And Madara, he wants to be the Jinchuriki because you can control the Jubi, but only limited. And he thinks it's better to do it as the Jinchuriki. And he wants Obito and he wants to be revived using the Ghetto Art of Rene Rebirth, the jutsu of the Renegon. But Obito's not going to do it, because if you do that, then Obito will die. And so he's basically saying that Obito's at his mercy, that he has some control over him. And he's never considered Madara his ally to begin with, his friend to begin with. He's just here to help him accomplish whatever he wanted. And those of you who know, that means that they don't exactly trust each other. We all know the truth between Obito and Madara's relationship. We all know the truth. Trust me. But things are very interesting for that. And right now they're both now in this position. And now that they're discussing this, and Madara lets Obito make the first attack. He's using Jubi's tails as hands. Now using wood style, piercing like wooden splinter attack, and he literally pierces through everybody right now. He's just skewering them all like they were cheese, and he got everybody, and he gets a lot of people, including one of the Konoha 11 who Naruto fought a long time ago in the tuning exam, and now has fallen in battle. I'm talking about Neji. He gave his life away to literally make sure that Naruto and the others survive. He said that Lady Hinata was willing to die for you, and so will I. And because you called me a genius. This is the first time that Naruto ever experienced the loss of one of his closest friends. He said in the beginning that he's gonna let any of his friends die, and Obito is calling him out on that, saying that the more you fight, the more this is going to happen, and to surrender and everything. And more fighting will lead to more bloodshed and stuff like that. And that just proves how cold-hearted Obito has been. I mean, remember, he was the Naruto type. He wanted to be Hokage. He wanted to be his dream. And even Kakashi's now astounded at how much of a monster that he's become. That's not your friend anymore. He's a freak now. And Naruto, he's like his spirit is being broken right now. Seeing all the body and blood piling up right now, and everybody right now is on the edge, especially Naruto. He feels like his spirit is being broken right now, because he never breaks a promise, and he felt like he broke a promise by letting his friend die. But then out of the blue, when things are to go up, it's Hinata who literally picks him up and rallies him behind. And I gotta admit, this is a major step up for Hinata, because she was a shy, timid girl who liked Naruto secretly. But it wasn't for that timidness, but it wasn't for Naruto's bravery, she probably wouldn't become brave herself. Hell, she nearly died for him during the whole pain attack. And that just proves how much she loves Naruto. And that she's really stepped up, especially in this fight. Right? And she really cared for Neji. I mean, she literally called him brother, even though they weren't exactly brother and sister, they were cousins. She literally called him brother, and that's what she wanted. And not what he wanted, that's what she wanted. That just proved that how kind-hearted she was. And she didn't care about the whole Brass family, she cared that they were family. And she has to be, out of all the people hurting, she's the one that's hurting the most. Because she's the one that literally felt like she really did lose a brother, especially if it's Neji. And also with this, that just proves how strong-hearted, that just proves how much that Hinata really does care. Yeah. And also when he stands up, it proves that Naruto is willing to fight, but he also makes sure that he still hasn't given up on his dream. Especially when he's holding Hinata's hand and getting ready to fight, and Hinata saying all these words in her head saying Hinata's hand is warm and comfortable, and knowing that Hinata is willing to fight for him, he's now rallying behind. And that means that Naruto has the courage to stand back up. That means he's willing to do what's necessary. I mean, and the fact that he lost one of his friends, now that means Naruto has nothing to lose anymore. He already experienced the loss of a friend once. That means he's never going to let that happen again. And the chapter ends with Naruto going into gold mode, transforming and giving chakra to Hinata, and making sure that their plan succeeds. Then you get the next chapter. You get to see some old faces you haven't seen in a while. You get to learn the origin story of the ones who know everything. Those of you who read that chapter, you read the manga, you know what I'm talking about. And then you get to see the next episode after that. And I gotta give this episode a thumbs up. because he showed character development and showed that there's some hope for Naruto. Oh, even though that he's experienced this, and then there's Obito's trash talking at Naruto. Remember, he was the Naruto type before he went crazy. And then there's Hinata, who stepped up in both this episode and the manga. Some people are hoping for Hina with Haruto or Hinata hooking up after all, but then there are some people who still hope for Narusaku between Sakura and Naruto, but then there's still Sakura's feeling for Sasuke and everything else. Who do you think, Naruhina or Narusaku? I'm mostly going for Naruhina because Hinata really does generally love him and unconditionally and was willing to die more than once. So I'm gonna go with Naruhina. That got my vote. What do you think? I put the link down in the description. You gotta watch this episode because this is a major turning point in the war, and a major bookmark in the arc in the fight. Trust me. See, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching this Sellavin analysis. I hope you enjoyed my review. Give me your opinion on what you think about this episode. Give me your strongest opinion. Criticize if you must. I just want to hear your voices because I'm letting you hear mine. I want to hear yours. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Comment and subscribe. Signing off.